History records that in 1885, a group of Lebanese established themselves in Philadelphia. They came from the mountains, deep in northern Lebanon. Towns called Ein Turin, Baslawit, Skarta, Jez, Hasrun, and Zahli. They traveled down the mountain by donkey and then took a boat to Cyprus and then to France and on to America. They left behind everything. For many, they even accepted new names. Cameroon and Fakri became Buttress, Finianus became George, and Nassif became Joseph. Their names may have changed, but their identity and their religious convictions as Maronites was unwavering. This is the story of the people of St. Maron's. These early parishioners, the Gussens, the Buttresses, the Abrahams, the Musis, the Finianus, the Buharibs, the Thomases, were served by an itinerant priest, Father Istefan Korkamas. Like the early Christians, they met for worship in houses. In 1895, Antonius Elham, whose parents were from Darahma, is the first recorded baptism at St. Maron's. On October the 2nd, 1899, a seal was made and read, St. Maron's of the Syro-Maronite Missions in the United States of America. St. Maron's was soon to become a reality. In 1901, the cornerstone was laid for the original church on 10th and Ellsworth Streets. It was during these next 20 years when the community around 10th and Ellsworth saw its greatest influx of people from Syria and Lebanon. The original families were joined by the Dadas, the Salibas, the Simons, and the Tayuns. Together, they not only built a church, they built a community. Members of some of the original families recently gathered to remember and share stories of those early days.
My uncle, Charles Abraham, known as Brownie, was baptized at St. Maron's Church on November 12, 1899.
My uncle, Sarkees Abraham, baptized in St. Maron's Church on December 4th, 1899.
My aunt, Rose Buttress, baptized on January 14th, 1900.
My father's cousin, Sadie Bruhadab, was baptized in St. Maron's Church on December 4th, 1902.
My mother's brother, Uncle Yusuf Finianus, was baptized at St. Maron's on July 26, 1905.
My Aunt Catherine Saliba, baptized in August of 1907.
My sister Salima and I have a cousin named Rania Dada, who was baptized February 16, 1908.
My cousin Isabel was baptized in St. Maron's April 1913.
المجد للآب والابن والروح القدس من الآن وإلى الأبد. Lord Jesus, make us worthy to celebrate the exaltation of your glorious cross with sacred hymns and songs. When you appear on the last day and the sign of your cross will shine brighter than the sun, gather us before you and surround us with your eternal light, that we may raise glory and thanks to you, to your Father, and to your Holy Spirit, forever.
The only thing I can remember is that our church was a beautiful, it looked like a castle.
People only donated quarters and nickels and dimes was because basically it was a poor community and they did the best they could. My maternal grandmother was telling me that the men and the boys used to carry the stones on their backs to help construct the church.
The woman went arbeit and sold dry goods door to door, while the men established businesses. If you wanted groceries, you saw Uncle John Buttress. If you wanted beer and soda, you went to the Musi beer distributor. They were true to their Lebanese roots. They were entrepreneurs. Eventually, if you wanted to eat, you could dine at the Middle East restaurant at 935 Ellsworth Street. Our stars had brought in Ellsworth Street. These original parishioners understood hardship. They had only each other. They banded together to provide support to others who wanted to travel to America. In 1925, a group of men established the Lebanese Charitable Society.
This is a charter of the first Maronite charitable organization organized in St. Maron's Church. They used to collect, and I'm being very literal, they would collect nickels, dimes, and pennies. So when people followed them here from Lebanon, they would buy them clothes, they would get them an apartment, they would buy them food, and get them settled into a job. There's John Buttress, that's Helen's grandfather, my father, John Joseph Nassif, my uncle, Sam Musi, and other relatives, the Lota family, and the Hakel family.
Glory and honor on this feast in all the days of our lives and forever.
There were 3 men that used to sing the Genèse and help the priests. They were what you would call cantors today. And it was my father, John Joseph, Michael Malta, and Hakel.
It was during the 1930s, 40s, and 50s that the parish exploded. We were joined by the Zaydens, the Coways, and the Lewises. The children and grandchildren of these early settlers immersed themselves in American culture. They could do the jitterbug just as well as the depke.
If you were on Federal Street, or Ellsworth Street, or 10th Street, or Broad Street, you couldn't walk 10 or 15 steps without having a Lebanese family as a neighbor. The true heroes were the people who came from the other side. They didn't speak the language. They had useless money in their pockets, and they had the clothes on their back with an old cardboard suitcase. And they came here, they didn't mortgage houses, they bought them cash. All the kids went to Catholic school, Everybody was in such close affiliation with each other. The word heartwarming just doesn't begin to describe it.
At the outbreak of World War II, many of our young men answered the call to defend the country and values their grandparents had sacrificed so much to have. The first Lebanese American to graduate from the United States Naval Academy was George Corey Tayoun from St. Maron's. Following the war, the boys returned home, and during the next few years, many married. Some married Lebanese, some married into other ethnic groups, but always at St. Maron's.
The Gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ according to St. Luke, who proclaimed life to the world. Let us listen to the proclamation of life and salvation for our souls.
The 1950s saw the continuation of the sodality and the establishment of the original St. Jude's Novena. For 9 days, twice a day, the church overflowed with people from all over the area praying for divine intercession. Sadly, we have no photographs, but in the back of the church hung crutches and canes from people who were cured of their illnesses.
And there were the miracles that were performed by St. Maron in the back of the church. As you came in, you saw it to the right. The canes, the braces, and the crutches that were all hanging there. And I am proud to say that my brother witnessed a miracle in St. Maron one night visiting the church, and this man came in walking with a cane, knelt down at the altar, and a few minutes later got up and walked out without the cane.
I knew Michael Anthony, who had polio, who was cured by St. Maron.
The 1960s saw revolutionary change all over America, except at St. Maron's, where we still gathered around the rituals and events that bind us together, especially Shanina.
My first memories of St. Maron as a child were when we would come on Palm Sunday for Shanina, and we always wore our Easter outfits. After Mass, we would all go to my aunt's and my grandfather's house, which was down the street. We'd always have a family get-together, and they were some of the fondest memories I have of St. Maron's.
Eventually, we all saw a need for a larger church building, and in 1966, we purchased property adjacent to the church on 10th and Ellsworth Streets. Work started on the building, which stands today. And in 1967, saw the dedication of what we call the new church. In 1974, the fortunes of St. Maron's changed dramatically with the arrival of a monk named Father Sharbalisha. And for the next 37 years, life at St. Maron's and in South Philadelphia would be a great ride. He brought us together. He gave us his tremendous voice and his passion for our shared culture. He helped us understand who we should be as a community.
He came to the United States. He fell in love with this country, the democratic country that fit him, the way he thinking about life, about politics, about society, about everything. Because he believed in the continue of the family and have the family in the soul of the Maronite church.
Monsignor Sharbel always had a project. In 1976, he established the first festival.
He said, listen, everybody do his job and don't worry about it. St. Maron take care of the rest, of the weather, of everything. 2 months before the festival, they were working like family. He's like one of the workers, not just a priest.
In 1985, he expanded the property with the building of the church hall.
Come on, somebody start a dusky. Let's go. Yalla.
His passion didn't stop at the church doors. He took the church into the community. He even distributed ashes to the shoppers and workers in the Italian market. In 1976, he led our participation in the World Eucharistic Congress held here in Philadelphia.
Monsignor, he asked me if I could do this costume 1976 for the Eucharistic costume for the girls. It was very beautiful celebration that time.
In 1986, we hosted the annual NAM convention with Monsignor at the helm. He even took us to Washington, D.C. to march in support of our beloved Lebanon. As he faced health challenges during his last few years, he was assisted by a grandson of the parish, Father Michael Maron, who established the parish's first CCD program. In the end, Monsignor Schabel wasn't just our longest-serving pastor. He was our father, the man who put us back together. Allah Yerhamu, Monsignor Schabel.
هنا فيلادلفيا. نرحب فيكم سيداتي وسادتي في هذا المهرجان اللبناني السنوي الذي يقيمه أبناء الطائفة المارونية المقيمين في فيلادلفيا وفي ضواحيها، وإن نتمنى للجميع الصحة والعيش الهني مع مختلف مذاهبهم وطوائفهم، كما وإننا نرجوكم أن تتشرفوا إلى هذا المهرجان الذي نقيمه مدة 28 سنة. وشكرا لإصغائكم وأهلا وسهلا بكم.
In 1976, Monsignor Schabel, with the help of John Zayden and Chubby Simon, organized the original festival.
Right now I'm standing in a bar that was actually built for my father, who was known as the barman.
Hey, how you doing? Morning.
Across from where we're at, a little side street, was my father's bar.
Monsignor Schabel enlisted the help of the women of the parish to prepare and cook the food. Women including Romy Gusson and her sister Mary Dada Salerno and Helen Lewis and so many others from the neighborhood worked in the kitchen under Monsignor's watchful eye. Today, the festival kitchen includes a legion of women under the watchful eyes of Mary Saloom and Father Vincent Farhat, who, it turns out, is a fabulous cook.
What you see at work is a community effort, young to old, and it's all for the church and for the Lebanese community. It's how they preserve their heritage and their tradition and their celebration.
We are at the Lebanese Festival in Philadelphia.
The annual Lebanese Festival at 10th and Ellsworth Street.
This is our parish, St. Maron. Once we go in, you're not going to hear me because it's really loud. If you're interested in good food, good music, awesome people, really you appreciate culture, you want to come here. To go behind the scenes. Let's go behind the scenes. Traditional manoushi. This is manoushi with za'atar. This is beef. We have chicken and then kafta. Look at the tabbouleh.
I offer this song for all the mother. They deserve our respect and love. هيك الأموم وهيك حالة كل أم. هيك الأموم وهيك حالة كل أم. لو جاع ابنها بتشتري رغيف وبدم. يا ربي إيدك إيدك يا ربابة إنك يا حضرة الحبابة
This bar is called after Chubby. It's in honor of Chubby.
I'm currently running the bar with my sons and my nephew. Just a lovely event. It's a lovely parish. It's a family. Everybody does what we have to do in order to make this parish succeed.
Over the years, the festival has become the largest of its kind in the area. The arrival of Father Vincent saw the festival expand in many ways we could never have imagined that first year. Over the years, we hosted the bishops from the Eparchy of St. Maron, Bishop Zayag, Bishop Dwight, and our dear friend Bishop Greg. In 2008, the Patriarch of Antioch visited St. Maron's, the first visit by any patriarch to our humble parish. With Monsignor Schabel's retirement and passing, we welcomed Father Vincent Farhat as our new pastor.
When Bishop Gregory called me, I was taking care of a parish in Miami, Florida. And he said to me, Father Vince, are you ready for your assignment? I said, sure, Bishop. He said, I'm going to send you to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I was speechless, actually, for the first 30 seconds after he announced that to me.
Father Vince brought enthusiasm and tremendous administrative skills. Much like Father Schabel, he had a love for new projects. Father Vincent led a complete renovation of the church hall, which was dedicated at its completion as the Monsignor Schabel Community Center.
To honor Monsignor Schabel, who I adored, we suggested that we name the church hall the Monsignor Schabel Alicia Community Center in honor of him, because he was pivotal and responsible for building the original hall. We did a fundraising effort to raise some money, and we borrowed some money, and we renovated the hall. Because the hall is really, after the church, the hall is the center place for everyone to come. We were able to have a space where we could have our own gatherings, our own huffleys, our own parties. We were able to have a meeting place for our CCD programs. We did the second floor, renovated the second floor to accommodate 8 CCD classes, and we need every single one of them to this day.
Following in the path of his predecessor, he also distributed ashes in the community. Most important, Father Vince has cast a wide net and has welcomed many new families to our parish family.
One thing I can say adamantly is that this parish has the greatest heart. We're going to continue this journey. We are going to continue to grow. We are going to continue to realize our mistakes and our shortcomings and build upon them. And as a community, as this great community has always done, we will go forward in the Spirit of Jesus Christ, and that is a gift.
The newest members of our church family bring us youth, energy, and hope in the future. To those new families, we give you our legacy on which to build. Inshallah, another 125 years of children and families proudly saying,
I am. We are. I am. St. Maron. St. Maron. We are St. Maron. We are St. Maron. 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 We are St. Maron. St. Maron. We are St. Maron. We are St. Maron. I am St. Maron. St. Maron. We are St. Maron. We are St. Maron. St. Maron. We are St. Maron.
I am St. Maron's.